thing we want to get into. What is DJ Lagway's ceiling? Maybe I'm a fan, big fan, obviously. So I'm going to have glasses are blinding to him, really. So I'm going to say he has the potential to be like the best QB in the country. We talked about it last night going into next season. What QB would you rather have than DJ Lagway? And like the best answers we could give was Arch Manning and like Nico. I mean, I feel like that ceiling's pretty high.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like the talent is, I mean, the arm talent is just unbelievable. Just the power and touch, like it's just hard to like Florida hasn't had a guy that throws the ball like that since I've been watching them, and I'm not sure they ever have, to be honest with you. Like I think that he can do so much, and I think it's pretty obvious right now to me that he's, I don't want to say uncomfortable in the offense, but I think it's pretty clear he's still kind of learning the ropes to a degree.
Yes.
I think the entire playbook, I think, seems a little bit limited with him. And I think he'll grow in that regard. I mean, he's a true freshman who wasn't supposed to be starting this year. But I think, I mean, so I like the only hang up is I think that, you know, you could worry that maybe, you know, this doesn't become, the complexity here doesn't grow a lot, and there's not a lot more like elements to his game, and we kind of just end up having a deep ball artist guy.
Yep.
And which wouldn't even be, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened, but I mean, that's like the floor. And I mean, the ceiling is, I agree with you. I think the ceiling is sky high. I think the ceiling is a Heisman Trophy. I think the ceiling is potentially first overall pick in the draft. Like, I mean,
yes,
he's among the more special college quarterbacks I've seen as a true freshman in a very long time.
That's the thing. He's just a true freshman. Going back to him being like a deep ball artist, we do need to see him check down a bit more. He did make a nice check down on what was one of the holdings, the second holding call after the fumble, where then it got taken back. But there was the probably most likely interception he almost threw to where the linebacker was kind of hidden and went for it and probably should have picked it off, but didn't, where he had Badger wide open on a check down drag route, which would have been a explosive play because that probably would have gone for like 20 yards. So then that adds to the stats, which also make the deep ball look better, even though it was a check down. But I mean, his ceiling, you say, first pick in the NFL draft, when you look at the QBs who are the best in the league, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, obviously probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now, has that bazooka, good mobility. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I mean, those are probably the three best QBs in the NFL right now. They all have really good mobility with big arms where they can throw it down the field. And, I mean, they're smart players, obviously. So that seems like if you can get DJ Lagway, his football IQ up, which I'm not even saying is bad, but like with the downs, if you can develop that, I mean, he already has the makeup of what you would see from a winning player. Won us that LSU game. You talked about it, 3-0 in games he starts and finishes, which, you know, you can talk about winning wins and losses being a QB stat. I mean, I feel like you look in the NFL, most of the best QBs are winning football games. Yeah. So being able to win the game against LSU, winning us that Kentucky game, giving us the lead against Georgia. We don't know how we would have finished, but he did give us the lead. And, I mean, similar to that LSU and Kentucky game, took early leads and then held them almost mostly and went on to win those games, obviously.
Yeah, and, like, I hate to point to intangibles just because it feels, like, kind of hackish, but, I mean, this kid's got him. Like, I mean, this kid, like, the leadership, the moxie, like, just looking at him standing while everyone's running out of the tunnel, like, you know, greeting everyone, firing everyone up. I mean, this is rare stuff. Like, this is, like, I'm not trying to be, like, you know, hyperbolic here, but, like, this is the kind of thing you just don't normally see from a guy who's a true freshman and is still figuring his own stuff out, figuring out the playbook, figuring out his own, you know, strength and conditioning, figuring out, you know, just the college lifestyle. You rarely see guys just come in and have the ear of the team the way it seems that DJ does. It's really special. And I think, you know, it's hard not to feel, even for someone like me, who is a extreme Billy Napier skeptic and is not sitting here like 100% convinced we're all fine. You know, it's the future's bright. Everything's going to be fantastic, but it's hard not to feel good and at least, you know, cautiously optimistic when you look at what you've got in DJ Lagway.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a true freshman, and he's leading this team like you would see a senior quarterback lead a team, or a veteran player, a team captain, really. I mean, he's basically the team captain. I mean, what player would you put above him leadership-wise? I mean, Grant Mertz, maybe. I mean, even when Lagway
Shamar seems like a big-time leader. I'll say that.
That's true.
Maybe Austin Barber.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with the offensive linemen.
But they're quiet, but they also seem like they're, pretty like kind of anchors of the, no pun intended, but like sort of anchors of the offense. So,
but like that might be DJ's best attribute, his leadership. Which, when you're looking at a kid that has probably the best D ball in all of college football, that being above the deep ball, I mean, it's hard to see him. I mean, I don't want to predict him to be like too high. I don't want to predict him to be that first round pick, but it's hard to see him fall off a bit because you can tell from his leadership, he's a hard worker. I mean, as long as the team is developing, the coaches are developing him right, he should be that first overall draft pick, and hopefully be a really good player in the NFL.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, he seems to love this staff. He seems to love Billy Napier and the staff. Had a lot of praise for Billy and Ryan Berry, the quarterback's coach. Sort of, after the game last night, was asked about Strickland's statement and the vote of confidence, and just talked about how excited he was that the staff was staying. And again, like I said, I have my concerns, but there's something to be said for the fact that the face of the program, which is what he is as a true freshman, the face of the program wants him to stay. So
they absolutely love his loyalty. I mean, in this college football world where players will transfer just for one small reason or flip their commitments for a small amount of money, maybe. So you got to love when you have a player like DJ Lagway, and love when he's on your team.